My dad tried to blackmail me into my golden brother's wedding by threatening my tuition. He said, "Show up or I cut you off." The funny part, I'd already graduated, and I was making more money than him. I grew up as the extra. My little brother was the healthy, cute one, so he became the main character. My parents fed him praise like oxygen. I got basics: food, a bed, and silence. He learned early that he could shove me, mock me, and my parents would call it boys being boys. One memory still burns. 3rd grade, I brought home straight A's. I put the report card on the counter like it mattered. My mom barely looked up. "That's good." Then she squealed over my brother's crooked drawing and slapped it on the fridge. My A's went into the junk drawer. That was my place in the family. When college came around, I finally had an exit. I landed a scholarship to a prestigious school states away. I was shaking when I opened the email. This was my way out. Then my dad crushed it in one sentence: "You're not going. You'll make your brother jealous." They demanded I go to a local college instead, so I smiled and played nice. I said, "Fine, one condition: I live in the dorms." They agreed way too fast, like they'd won. I nodded, packed my bags, and moved into the dorms. In reality, I moved across the country and started the real school on scholarship. For 2 years, my parents stayed clueless. My dad kept sending tuition money because he loved the idea of controlling me. I used it for rent and food and books. Call it theft if you want. I call it back pay for a childhood of being treated like wallpaper. Then one morning, he called like we were suddenly a family. My brother was getting married. Dad wanted me home early to help. I said no. I kept it short. No excuses, just no. The guilt text started instantly. My mom: "Do you really want to miss this?" My dad: "People will talk." Then he went for my throat. "If you don't come, I stop paying your tuition." He said it like it was a guillotine. I told him, "Go ahead, stop." And that's when he decided to teach me a lesson. This was the scene I wish I could have filmed. He drove to the local college. He marched to the office. He said my name like he owned it. Then the clerk typed and paused. She typed again, slower. Then she looked up and said, "Sir, he isn't enrolled here." My phone rang minutes later. He was screaming, "Where have you been? What did you do with my money?" I let him rant until he ran out of air. Then I said, "I never went there." Silence. Thick, stunned silence. I dropped the rest like a brick. "I graduated a year ago. Scholarship. I'm working. 6 figures. He tried to laugh it off at first. Then his voice cracked, angry and small. He called me a traitor. He listed every sacrifice he'd made for me, like ignoring me was some kind of investment. And even then, he still made it about appearances. "You have to come to the wedding," he hissed. "We can't have gossip." I told him, "I don't need your forgiveness, and I'm done pretending." Then I blocked him. I blocked my mom too. It felt ugly. It felt clean. A month later, an unknown number called. It was my mom, sobbing like her heart was breaking. "I just want my son back," she said. The words sounded wrong in her mouth. I hung up and called my aunt to check the story. That's when the real twist hit. My brother's wedding never happened. His perfect fiancée was a scammer. She convinced him and my parents to dump their savings into a once-in-a-lifetime investment. Then she vanished. No bride, no money. They even used their house as collateral trying to patch it. Now they were staring down foreclosure, blaming everyone but themselves. Suddenly, my mom missed me. Sure. A few days later, my parents showed up at my door. They looked smaller than I remembered. My dad started preaching about family responsibility. My mom begged, "We're broke. We need help." I didn't invite them in. I didn't even argue. I said, "You have one son you raised for this. Call him." Then I shut the door. My brother came next, crying, trying to play the big brother card like he hadn't spent years bullying me. I told him, "If you come back, I call the cops." He stood there for a second like nobody had ever said no to him. Then he left. The silence afterward was loud. It still is, but it's mine. I sleep better in it now. And for the first time in my life, I'm not background noise in someone else's story.